Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we took on the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round, and we managed to pull off the sweep, which was kind of a surprise in a way because we finished so good during the regular season. I didn't expect us to have that easy of a time in the first round because usually you don't, but we managed to utterly destroy the Tampa Bay Lightning, I'd say, because we did not allow them to score goals, and we scored a couple, or quite a bit actually, of our own. As you can see here with our first round efforts, we got good efforts from a lot of players on the team. The depth scoring was pretty good for the most part. There was a couple guys that didn't pick up any points that were a little bit surprising, those being none other than Yuri Sergeyev, who's on the third line. And the most surprising for sure was Joel Weber, who didn't score a single goal. He did pick up an assist, which is good, but he did not score a single goal in that first round, so hopefully he has a better second round. But I'd say the most surprising thing in that first round was the emergence of Kalle Sonnenberg. He had his best run in the playoffs so far up to this point. As you can see in prior seasons, he was not doing good at all in the playoffs. I mean, this one season where he actually went 6-4-2 was not bad, but you can see he's always had like over 3 goals against average. Well, so far through 4 games, he's been incredible, and I'm really hoping he continues that into the second round because I am a little bit skeptical still that he could kind of maintain this pace. But anyways, that is that. In today's episode, we're going to be taking on the Boston Bruins in the second round, looking to get to our first ever conference finals. It should be an interesting matchup because Boston obviously is kind of close to Halifax relatively. Also the fact that Brad Marchand, who at this point I guess would be a Bruins Hall of Famer, was from Halifax, so it would be kind of interesting to see what ends up happening result-wise. But let me show you guys their lines again, just in case you forgot. I don't think they're really that much better than Tampa Bay on paper, like maybe a little bit more offensive depth, but other than that, they're very similar. As you can see, they have a couple of good players with Lamminen and with Sterling. The rest of their players are solid, but they aren't like groundbreaking players. And then from a defensive standpoint, it's okay as well, but it's still not the best on paper. And they do actually have a solid goaltending tandem of Knight and Niittymaki, so should be interesting nonetheless. Now let's get into your guys' comments before we get into this first round matchup and see if we're able to get ourselves out of the second round. So the first comment is from Ezra Hembrook, who says, had to catch up on some episodes of the series, so I missed the previous season sim with the updating of the franchise record. The Halifax Raiders improved their overall record to 409, 592, and 65. A few more dominant seasons like the past one, and that loss toll ain't going to be so massive. Also, congrats on the huge round 1 victory. Here's hoping the Raiders could keep their feet on the gas and stay dominant throughout the rest of the playoffs. And I appreciate your keeping track of the record of the team, because I always want to know what our team's like by the end of it. I know that my buddy Jeff ends up usually keeping track of it, but I know that he's been a little bit behind on the series, so he probably hasn't been doing really anything with the series up to this point. But yeah, I hope that we could get a good second round effort from the guys, because I feel like since we swept the first round, we might get swept in the second round of our own right because of the fact we won the President's Trophy. But I'm hoping that I'm wrong with that case, because obviously it would be really nice to get to finally to a conference finals and maybe even to a cup finals this year. Next comment is from Sandro Nataku, who says, art imitates life in this series as Tampa here played like how they are doing IRL right now. Still not convinced that FBZ has a future on this team. Perhaps he will turn it around on round 2, onward and upward. And yeah, FBZ wasn't the best in the first round, but once again, he isn't really getting a ton of ice time, so maybe it's that reasoning. I know I'm kind of justifying how bad he is, but 2 assists in 4 games, he's playing 15 minutes a night. You do expect maybe a little bit more out of him, because his playoff numbers aren't really that great. Like, he's only got the 1 goal in 29 games, but he is more of a playmaker, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. He's a really weird player. He was actually a first overall pick. I completely forgot that we drafted him at number 1. I thought it was always like number 2 or 3, but he made first overall. I wonder who went after him, because that would have been maybe a better player to take for us at that point, but we went with FBZ instead. The next comment is from Ian.Nolov, who says, congratulations on the dominant sweep W against Tampa. This is how a President's Trophy winner plays. Great performance in previewing second round. Here are some questions for Halifax's coach. Number 1, dear Mr. Coach, what's your opinion on Sonnenberg's outstanding performance? Was it because of the rivalry with Norton, or did he gain morale due to that crazy winning season run? I'd say it was probably just maybe I don't know. It's really tough to tell. Like, I don't know if it was more the team's defense in front of him that was doing well, or if he actually played well. Like, how much shots did we give up in that first round? Let's see. Shots against in those games, 132. That's quite a bit of shots because he faced that much amount of shots almost. Maybe it's around normal, actually. Maybe a little bit less than our first ever playoff run. So yeah, maybe he actually was playing pretty good on our team's defense was, but also I think Sonnenberg maybe just decided to, hey, we'll play good for once. He doesn't really have a rivalry with Norton because how I see it at least is if your teammates are not really having a rivalry, it's kind of more of a competitive relationship between the two of these guys. Like, it's not like that he doesn't want Norton to have good chances to being a good goaltender. He just wants to obviously hold on to those starting reins, and if he plays bad, he knows that he plays bad, and that Norton would be fine with taking that starting role. So maybe it's a little bit of added pressure on Sonnenberg to perform because Norton's right behind him. I don't know. Number 2, why Sonnenberg wears number 3? Is it because he is still not a valid number 1 goalie on the franchise, or is it just because he feels like wearing that number? So the reason he's wearing number 3, if I'm not mistaken, is I think number 1 was his preferred number, but I'm pretty sure we had a goaltender that wore number 1 when he was into the league at the first point in time, so he ended up changing to number 3 because number 1 was taken, because at the moment you can see nobody has number 1 on our team because it's always a goaltender. So we could change him back to his number 1, but he does have his a different number in number 3. I don't think it's actually his preferred number. Number 3, what are the odds Halifax clinching this second round? And I'd say I feel like it's slim, to be honest. I know our team's great, but after coming off a sweep against a team like Tampa, I don't know. I just feel a little bit odd that our team could just get swept on our own right. But I'd say definitely we have good odds to winning because we're a better team. But at the same time, I think we have good odds because we're too good of a team in a sense, you know? Number 4, did the HL overcome 1-2 losing points in their playoffs? Did they get eliminated in the first round? I think they did. Because I didn't get any notifications. Yeah, they're not even into the second round. Yeah, they got eliminated by the Marlies, unfortunately. Number 5, are there any new generated X factors generated by our players at the end of the season? I don't think there is. As far as I could tell, I don't think there is any generated X factors on this team that's new. I don't know if Lehman always had truculence. I think he did. Del Rivera might have gotten a few since we last looked. Piero Zabala still only has all alone, which is interesting that he has only that. Some of the defensemen I think are getting some more X factors because they do look a little bit better than they were at one point. But other than that, nobody else is getting any X factors. And then finally, he says, impressed by the team. Great job for the squad and its coach. Well-organized chemistry leads us to glory. Hopefully, and hey, Snipe, don't let anxiety bring you down. We stand with you. Heads up as I deal with this shit, too. I appreciate that, Ian. Thank you for all the questions and the feedback. Next comment is from Souls, who says, Joel Weber, 0 goals on 14 shots. Looks like he's a bit snake-bitten, but hey, he's still getting chances. Look for him to break out in the second round for more offense. Also looks like I was wrong about Sonnenberg. I expected him to be at least replaced by the second game, and I kind of was as well. I didn't expect Sonnenberg to have that good of a first round, but I do think he's going to have a couple games here in the second round where he's not going to be very good. And about Joel Weber not scoring on 14 shots, at least he is getting opportunities like you're saying. So hopefully he gets more of a chance in the second round. If he doesn't, we could always try and move around him in positioning to third line, maybe give Hammerline a better opportunity. Something like that. Maybe that gets the third line going as well. And then the final comment is from Michael Dose, who says, Game 1, all 5 goals from the right side dot. That's interesting. I didn't even realize that when we were simulating that all 5 goals came from that spot, but that is pretty cool. Okay, let's get into this matchup and see if we can beat Boston. I'm really hoping that we can and keep the momentum going, but like I said, coming off a sweep, I never feel very safe because I feel like the game might cheese us. But who knows, maybe this is a series that goes 6 or 7 games, not a 4-game sweep, because Boston definitely is a better team than Tampa, but it's not really, like I said, by that much. So hopefully we're able to beat them because of that. Okay, let's get into this second round matchup and see what happens. Game 1 on home ice. Can we continue our hot playoff trend, and can Sonnenberg continue what he did in round 1 especially, because I think that's the biggest wild card right now at the moment. First period of game number 1. And it's 1-1. I'll take it. Hughes opens the scoring for them. Sea-Doo scores for us. Wasn't expecting Sea-Doo to get any goals in this game, but here we are, 1-1 after 1 with the shots pretty even as well, so pretty textbook period. Can we find a way to grab the lead in the second period? Second period, it's 2-1 Boston. Oof. Levi scores, or Levi, or Levis, I don't even really know, but he makes it 2-1 Boston going into the third, but the shots 23-14. We got badly outplayed in that second period. I think we only had like 2 or 3 shots on goal. Well, they had like 11. We need to be much better in second periods, because second periods are usually where you win or lose games. We don't want to be chasing the game in the third. So can we find a way to tie this game up in the third period? Come on, boys. We need a lot more shots here in this third period if we want to win this game. Let's get her done, boys. Let's get her done. Please get that next goal. Come on. Somebody. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Come on, boys. We still have time. Still have time to get that one goal. Can we find it? No, we can't. Richie makes it 3-1. And Richie gets an empty netter, and we lose a game 1, 4-1. I would say we were still pretty close in that game, but our offense definitely wasn't there, which is not great. Because obviously I think this late goal really doesn't matter too much, but we only lost by a couple goals technically. I just think we need to find a way to obviously get that offense to being more consistent. That was not a textbook first game. We need to be much better in the second period of game 2, because we got outshot 11-3, and that's where we lost the game. So hopefully we have a better game number 2. But let's take a look at our player stats anyways. Sea-Doo from Wilman Lassick. So good to see Sea-Doo on the board, but he's a DFD. We need offense from our offensive guys. And yeah, Spencer Knight played really good in that first game. Like I said, I still wouldn't put that first game on Sonnenberg. He was actually pretty solid. But we need a better offensive effort from the team as well. So we might go in and adjust our lines, because Joel Weber has still no goals through 5 games, which is a bit weird. I might put him back to the top line to see if that could help him a little bit. But that was our first loss of the playoffs, so not an ideal start. We definitely need to win the next game, though, because I do not want to go down 0-2 headed to Boston, because that would not be great. So let's go back to Weber on the top line, Lassick back down. And then we are going to swap Hamalainen and Haken as something. And defensively, I don't think I really want to make any changes. I could swap Sea-Doo and Kolsnik, so we have 2 really good defensive defensemen on each pairing. Could do that. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. Split up Kolsnik and Sea-Doo. I know we're still a good defensive team, but might as well. Okay, so a little bit of changes to our lineup for Game 2. Even though it's our first loss of the playoffs, I don't feel safe being down 0-1 right now. We need to find a way to get the series tied, because like I said, going to Boston is going to be tough to win games in, because that's always a tough arena. At least I know when I'm watching Sens versus Bruins games, for example, that arena is very, very loud. And if we go down 0-2, that team could definitely get their fans could definitely get their team in those games. So can we tie the series headed to Boston? Come on, boys, please. Get me another W here. First period of game 2. And 2-1 Boston. Oh my. Piero Zabala scored, which is great, considering that's his second career playoff goal in 31 games, I think, at this point. But Buchinger scored first, Hirokov scores, and then Piero Zabala scores. Shots are 9-6 in favor of us. So now Sonnenberg's having a bit of a tough time. 2 goals on 6 shots isn't ideal. We score a 1-on-9. Can we find a way to tie this game up in the second? We need a much better effort in the second period than last game, please, boys. We need more shots on goals, at least. We don't need to necessarily score, but it would be nice to get 1 or 2 goals in the second period. Second period. Still 2-1 Boston. Our offense is completely drying up here. We only have 2 goals in the span of 5 periods against the Bruins. Shots are 21-19 in favor of us, so we did get a lot of chances, but we didn't score. Spencer Knight is playing like a brick right now. Can we find a way to tie this game up in this third? McAvoy makes it 3-1. God damn, man. Penalty kill. And we score a short-handed goal from Sea-Doo. Was not expecting that. Sea-Doo's got our most goals in this series, which is really weird. He's got goals in back-to-back games. Can we tie it up? Or is that McAvoy goal going to bite us in the ass? Come on, boys, please. Get that next one. And we don't get it done. We lose by 1 goal. Oh my god. It would like C2 is leading us in goals. That's not a great thing. I meant to move my face cam down to here. Sorry about that, but oh my god. Final shots were 33-29, and we lose 3-2. And we lose both games on home ice, which means we need to win both games in Boston. So that's not ideal. Beers the ball from Sergeyev and Rizzi, and C2 from Del Rivera. Sonnenberg's kind of trending back to where he was, in a way. I don't know if I should go to Norton yet. Nah, that wasn't a terrible game from Sonnenberg. He kind of kept us in it a little bit. I might have to readjust some lines though anyways. Because C2 leading us in goals after the first 2 games is not ideal. We need like guys like Mauricio Wilm to step up. So we are going to reconfigure our entire lineup if I can, and see if I can find a way to get this team doing better. We are going to go back to our original lines from a few years ago. Lehman, Ahinen, and Wilm, the law line, will reunite. I don't think Weber could take faceoffs, right? Del Rivera can, though. So we'll put Del Rivera down the middle. We'll have Vlasic on the right side because he's a power forward, so he's more of a shooty guy. Weber on the left-hand side. Bottom 6-wise, we are going to... not really change much, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to change much about the bottom 6. Defensively, I'm going to go back to C2 and Kolesnik, but I am going to move Rizzi up with Boys, which means Felipe Flood will play with Dimitra. And Sonnenberg, yeah, it still has a 939. So we'll probably go to Sonnenberg still again. Soon maybe we go to Norton, but this is what the team is going to look like going into the next game. Do we have any badly minus defensemen? -3 for Boys. Oh boy. Now we do have some outlying defensemen. Like I could scratch Boys, but he's an 85. Why would I scratch an 85? That's still signed for 2 more years. So I guess we'll just have to run with this. So yeah, we're basically returning to our original top line. Del Rivera is going to be playing center now. And then the bottom 6 stays the same. The defense changes a little bit. Let's see if that could help us get back into the series. Because we need to win at least both games in Boston. If we lose one game, we're going to be down quite a bit in the series. And we're going to need to win like 3-4 straight games. So this is a crucial game here. Can we get back in the series, or is it going to be a chance for Boston to sweep us exactly like I expected to? Because like I said, when you sweep the first round, I feel like there's always a higher chance you get swept, especially if you won that President's Trophy. Come on, boys. Come on. I want to win this game. We got to stay alive. First period of game number 3. 1-1. I'll take that. Honzig scores. Weber scores for us. So Joel Weber finally getting on the board here in game 3. That is great to see. Hopefully that's the spark our team kind of needs. Obviously it'd be nice to get more offense from our other guys, but it's good to get Weber on the board. Shots are 12-8 in favor of the Bruins. Can we get the lead? Because we've had no leads so far, I think, in this series. This is another big second period. Can we get the lead? Second period? It is. Let me move my face again because I forgot I put myself up there again. It is 3-3. Well, at least our offense is starting to pick it up, but theirs is as well. Sterling makes it 2-1. Mason makes it 2-2. Honzig makes it 3-2. And Lehman makes it 3-3. It seems like every single game we are trailing in the game. We never have the lead. Can we find a way to get it in this third period? Shots are pretty even. Goals are even. We need just a big third period here if we want to claw back into the series. Come on, boys. Let's get a goal from Wilmer, somebody. Penalty kill, 5-on-3 penalty kill. That's not ideal. Power play for us. We do not score on it either, and Lehman scores afterwards. That's a big goal from the top line. Lehman gets put back onto the top line, and he's got 2 goals in this game, so that might be the spark we needed offensively. Final few minutes, and we hold them off by 1 goal of our own, and we are back in the series. It's been a pretty close series still for this, for the most part. Because game 1, we only lost technically by 2 goals if you don't include the empty net goal. This game, we win by 1 goal. Last game, we lost by 1 goal. It's definitely been pretty damn tight. So let me move my face again because I keep on forgetting. So Weber from Lassick and Del Rivere, Mason from Kolsnick, Lehman from Weber and Boys, and Lehman from Aachen. And so yeah, Lehman had a huge game for us, and that's kind of exactly what we needed from our top guys. Hanzig did get first star though for them, Lehman the second star, and Sterling the third. Okay, not bad. Okay, so we are back in this series. We definitely still need to win next game. Is it going to be the trend where the home ice team doesn't win until Game 7? Because if that is the case, we might win the series in 7 games, but obviously we still need to tie the series, so I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself at this point. I think we got to keep the team the same for next game, right? And Lehman's leading us in points now with 5 goals and 7 points in 7 games. He's definitely been our best goal scorer. I don't know where the heck Wilm is because he's been pretty quiet on the goal scoring department. But hopefully he can get going here in Game 4. Like I said, this is another must-win game or else we're going to have to win 3 straight games, and that's going to be pretty tough against a team like Boston, which has good goaltending. Here we go, guys. Let's win in Boston and go to home ice with a tie series because that would be huge. Let's get it done. This would show the signs of a good team if we're able to win both games on the road. First period of game number 4. 2-1 us. That's a good start. We finally actually have a lead. Wilm scores first, of course, after I was just calling him out. Lehman scores again, so Lehman's doing really well. And Sterling gets them on the board with 51 seconds left. I don't like that late goal. It would have been nice to be up 2-0 after the first, but instead it's 2-1. Shots are 15-7 in favor of us, so a dominant first period, but only up by a goal. Can we get some insurance in the second period? Second period? It is 5-2 us. Let's go. Huge period there. They tied it up early from Laminin, but Felipe Flood with the shorthanded goal, which is not what I was expecting, and Wilm scores 2 more. We call him out. He picks up a hat trick. What a guy. But we have 2 shorthanded goals against the Bruins so far in the series, which is kind of interesting because the other one was Sea-Doo, and then Flood has one here too. Okay, let's lock this game down in the third and have a tie series headed back home. This has been a good road effort from our team. We just need to play this good on home ice as well if we want to win the series. Long power play there, it doesn't do anything, but it does kill off a good chunk of the period. We're drastically outshooting them at the moment, which is a good sign as well. And we are going to have a tie series headed home. We lost our first 2 games on home ice, but we score 5 goals here in Game 4. And yeah, we have a tie series. We outshot them 47-23. So we doubled them up in shots and pretty much also doubled them up in goals. What an effort from the boys. What an effort. So Wilm from Aachen and Boys, Lehman from Wilm and Boys. I said Boys and he picked up 2 assists. That's funny. Flood from Pirzabal and Sergeyev, Wilm from Lehman and Sea-Doo, and Wilm from Lehman and Sea-Doo again. So, yeah, Wilm and Lehman with very good games. 3 stars of the game, Mauricio Wilm, the first star with 4 points. That's exactly what you need from your top guy. Lehman the second star, and Lehman in the third. How did Sonnenberg do that game? 9-13, pretty solid. He didn't face a lot of shots, though. Pretty solid, okay. Well, I wasn't expecting us to win both games in Boston because, like I said, it's a tough arena to play in, but that's a good response to losing both home games. Now the question is, can we win on home ice? Because if we win this game on home ice, we have 2 chances to close out the Bruins. If we lose this game, then we need to win 2 in a row, which is going to be a tough task. So far, the home team has not won a game in the series, though, so could go all that way till Game 7. And every series is tied right now except for Chicago, who swept the Vegas Golden Knights. Okay. Let's keep our team the same. We've won back-to-back games. Can we win 3 straight and push Boston to the brink of elimination? Come on, guys. Let's be the first team to win on home ice here. We need more out of our offense, too. And hopefully Wilm continues to do what he did last game. First period of Game 5. 2-1 Bruins. Not ideal. We did have to lead. Lehman scored again, but Dubnyk and McIntosh scored. So we are down by a goal after 1. Didn't mean to put my full face on the screen. Sorry about that. 16-8. The shots in favor of the Bruins. So that's not a good opening period for our defensive play in a sense, giving up that much amount of shots. But Sonnenberg is keeping us in the game right now. We definitely need to find a way to tie this game up in the second because, like we said before, second periods are pretty crucial in terms of getting into this game. So can we tie it up at least in the second period and have ourselves a chance to win the game in the third? Come on, boys. Get it done. Second period. 2-2. There we go. Mauricio Wilm again. Let's go, Wilm. Wilm is stepping it up. I called him out. He's got now 4 goals and an assist since we mentioned him not doing much. Let's go, Mauricio. That's what captains are made of. Shots are 29-19 in favor of Boston, but it's a 2-2 game. Sonnenberg's been playing good so far. Can we grab that lead back that we had early in the first period? Power play for us. We do not score. And then they score. McIntosh makes it 3-2 Bruins, but we answer right back with a power play goal from Del Rovere. And then they get the lead right back again. Honzig makes it 4-3. I'm not putting this on Sonnenberg right now because he's faced a lot of shots. Can we tie this game up and get it to overtime, or else we are brink of elimination, please? Berglund, the empty netter. And we lose 5-3 because we had our worst defensive period yet. We got outshot 38-31, so we were basically going full offensive mode, but that goal from Honzig is the difference. And yeah, not the best game in the world from Sonnenberg, but he did face a lot of chances in that third. And yeah, we have to win 2 straight games, which is not ideal. But so far, the home team has not won a game, which means I feel like we might win in 7 still. But obviously, we need a little bit better of an effort from the rest of the team. Lehman from Wilm from Lehman, not Lehman, from Ahinen and Dimitra, and then Del Rovere from Hämäläinen. 3 stars in the game: McIntosh, Wilm, and Del Rovere. So it seems like Wilm and Lehman are our main cause of offense right now. We need more out of the other guys, because now we need to win 2 straight games to stay alive, which is doable, but we would need better performances out of our other guys, I think, at the moment. Who has been not good in our lineup? Let's go through our player stats here briefly, see who's not been doing good, or anybody that's badly minus. Louis Mathieu is a -4. Mathieu is going to come out of the lineup, and we will, I guess, give the Sheriff an opportunity to play. I know he's more offensively minded, but let's go with the Sheriff. He has not played this season. And we will probably, actually, we'll probably put him on the left-hand side. Why not? We'll move Hämäläinen back up because Haken, I think, was the 2-way. Yeah. I want a more defensively reliable guy because Hämäläinen's a playmaker as well, so might as well not have him and Sheriff both on the 4th line. Anybody else that is worth like adjusting lineup wise? Let's see. -3 on Taro Haken as well. A couple of our 2-way forwards have had a rough time. Oh, that second pairing is not very good either. Let's swap Rizzi and Boys, or Dimitra and Rizzi. And Sonnenberg's still on at 927, so he's still been good enough. So we aren't going to turn to Norden here. Okay, we're going to keep the team the same for the rest of it. We need to win 2 straight games. Can we tie the series up at 3 apiece? And will the home ice trend continue? And then hopefully Game 7 is when we win, because I have seen that happen a lot of times in franchise mode. So that's what kind of gives me a little hope that we can win this game. Can we do this in Forza Game 7? Let's get her done, boys. Real-time simulation, since it's an elimination game. Let's see if we can win this game here. Power play early for us. We do not score. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Power play for us. The refs are the main focus here early on, as there's power plays for both teams. Consecutively, Lehman scores. Let's go. Lehman's been great. Him and Wilm, but Levi or whatever you want to call him ties the game up at 1. And Laminen gives them the lead. Come on, Sonnenberg. You got to play better than that. I mean, you did face 10 shots, but we're out shooting them 16-10, but we're down by a goal. This is very reminiscent of last game where we scored early and then they scored 2 goals late in the period. Can we have a big second period here, or else our season might come to an end? Come on, boys. Please. Oh, my God. Honzig makes it 3-1. This isn't looking too good. We might lose in 6 games here in the second round because this game always cheeses you out. Berglund makes it 4-1. I don't think we're coming back now. I was thinking we might be able to get it to a Game 7, but this game is literally crap when it comes to winning the President's Trophy. Like, our team should do it a lot better than Boston, but we're down by 3 goals going into the third. Shots are 26-20. It looks like we're going to get eliminated in Boston unless we have our best period of hockey yet. Let's see what happens, but it looks like we're going to be eliminated here. Come on, Mauricio. I know you have some goals in you still, man. Power play for us. It's a long one. And we do a score finally. It's Lehman again, and Lehman scores again. Lehman's got a hat trick. Can he add any more? Come on, I don't want to lose by 1 goal here, boys. Get me another one. Please. Final few minutes. And we are not going to get it done. We're eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. We tried to come back, but it was too little too late. Lehman had a hat trick in that game. He did everything he could in that second round, and he's a pending free agent this offseason, which definitely scares me. He's going to want to get paid after that playoff performance. God damn, man. Why are we eliminated already? Lehman from Ahern and Wilm, Lehman from Weber and Wilm, Lehman from Del Rivera and Vlasic. Lehman had 10 goals, and a lot of them were in that second round. And that was that the worst game that Sonnenberg's played? I don't think so, right? Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know. We were chasing the game the entire time. Did not help. And we're out in the second round, and once again, we're not going to a conference finals. A little bit displeased because I think our team should be a lot better than that coming off a President's Trophy. I think the game just cheesed us out of it because Boston, to me, didn't look that much better than Tampa on paper. But if we look at our player stats, Wilm, Ahinen were good. Then it drops off a lot. Yeah, FPZ definitely did not have a good playoffs. Mason, not very good. Sharov played 1 game, was -1. Maybe I shouldn't have had him in the lineup. Lehman was really good, especially in that last round. Vlasic was pretty solid. Weber was tragic defensively and only had 4 points. He needs to be much better. Hamelainen to 4 points and a -1. Haken had 2 goals. Yeah, it was mostly the top line we were relying on. Del Rivera was really good too, 9 points in 10 games. But Louis Mathieu barely anything, and same with Sergeyev. And then from a defensive standpoint, boys had 5 points in 10 games, which is good, but a -10, or 5, not -10. I almost said -10 because the games played. Cedar was great defensively, same with Kolsnik. But from an offensive standpoint, obviously not having a puck-moving defenseman still really hurts this team quite a bit on the offensive side of things. And then, yeah, Sonnenberg was maybe one of our best players at that 921. Not as good in the second round as he was in the first round, obviously, but still. When you have to rely on mostly 2 guys to get it done, it's not that easy to win. We need that depth scoring. And, yeah, like I said, with Lehman being a pending free agent, it's going to be interesting what our team's looking like next season, because I would probably rather hold on to Lehman than FPZ. And I don't really know how much cap space we're going to have this offseason, so that is not ideal. Well, let's simulate up to the awards and find out all that stuff and see what our offseason ahead is going to look like. That really sucks, man. I thought this was our year after winning the President's Trophy that we could win a cup. But obviously with this game, when you win the President's Trophy, the Stanley Cup usually doesn't happen. So Dallas wins the Stanley Cup, so we didn't even lose to the best team in the NHL. Who did Dallas beat in the Stanley Cup Finals this year? Let's see. New York Rangers. So it was Dallas and the Rangers. Let's take a look at both those teams, because why not? Oh, man, this sucks. So, Dallas, led by Tursunbayev. I don't even remember this guy, but he was a late first-round pick. Very good player. Tommy Salios, of course. Jason Robertson's still there. Yeah, I can kind of see why this team won. Very solid depth on the offensive side of things. But you can see what I mean about our team not having that depth scoring, because they had a bunch of guys on 20-plus points, like point per game. For us, we only had 2 guys that were well over point per game. So we need better depth scoring. Their goaltending was worse than ours in the playoffs too. Devin Levi wasn't phenomenal, so it was because of their offense they won, I think. So there's Dallas. And then the Rangers, who lost in the Cup Finals, also had some good depth scoring. So yeah, that's something we definitely need to improve on if we want to be a better team. And they had good goaltending from Dustin Wolf, or solid goaltending. So there is that. Let's take a look at these awards to wrap up the season. So Dallas, the Stanley Cup champions. We won the President's Trophy. Woohoo! It's a giant curse. Dallas and the Rangers Cup Finals. Koskinen, the Art Ross, and the Hart Brant Clark, the Norris. Svechnikov, the Lady Byng. Ellington, the Calder for Detroit. Tursenbayev, the Conn Smythe. Maxwell for Vegas wins the Vezina. Sonnenberg and well, not our backup goalie actually technically, but Sonnenberg does win the Jennings, which is great. We were the best defensive team until the playoffs, it seems like. Schneider wins the Masterton. Bulisic, Edmonton's coach, wins the Jack Adams. Winterberg, the Selke. And Koskinen, the Lindsay. Svechnikov, the Richard. AHL-wise, any awards for our AHL team? No. That kind of sucks. Is what it is, though. Okay, let's continue assimilating up to the rest of this stuff, the retirements and all that. We're running out of time before Wilm's going to start dropping off too, which is not ideal. So Vancouver wins the lottery, moving from 7 to 1, Florida at 2, Ottawa at 3, Seattle at 4, and Calgary at 5. I don't even know what this draft class looks like, to be honest, so I hope that we can draft some good players in it because we're going to need them. So, pretty big retirement class. Kucherov, Pasternak, Rantanen, Kyle Connor. Andrei Svechnikov, after a Richard winning season, retires. A lot of good retirement players-wise this year. Which means we're almost getting to that territory where it's going to be all generated guys, I think. So there's that. Goalie-wise, the best that retired was Gustafsson, Logan Thompson, UPL, etc. Okay. So, we did lose one of our coaches in the AHL, Novotny. And we did lose Packard in the NHL. So we did lose a couple coaches again that we're going to need to replace. We are not going to do any draft interviews because this episode would be too long. Let's take a look at our progress reports, our contracts, and the draft class. Let's start off with the contract situation. This is where it gets a bit scary. I don't know how much money we're going to have to spend, but all these guys are up for renewal. At least these 3 guys here are RFAs. But Layman, how much are you wanting? I could probably justify spending around that much, but we might have to try the 85% trick. Because obviously losing him would be very detrimental to this team. It'd be like losing Stajan ×2 in a sense. Yeah. I think we'll have to justify that. And then Piro's a bottle is still thinking he's worth like $7-9 million. So we might not even send a qualifying offer to him, or we could hold on to him for one more season and then let him go to free agency. Sergeyev and Laminainen, or not Laminainen, Hamalainen, they also want to get kind of paid after their first few years. Wow, okay, those guys might have to be qualified, but that looks like they're going to develop really well if they actually want that much amount of money. So I think we might have to qualify them, or we might just have to pay them a lot of money. Rizzy's also a pending free agent, which is not ideal. He wants a 5x5. Mason wants 1.2. He's easy to come back. Louis Mathieu, easy to come back. But we might end up losing Rizzy. We might lose Pierce Bottle. Who knows, maybe even Layman leaves the team if he doesn't want to come back. We do have some goalies, though, that will likely crack our NHL lineup. There is a good chance. Who's up for renewal goalie-wise? Is there anybody? Actually, we have no goalies in the NHL that are up for renewal. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We might have to let go of Gove. We might have to let go of Gove because at the moment, we got 2 NHL goalies. Actually, no. We don't have to. But we could. One of these goalies, or 2 of these goalies, could jump to the NHL. Because Solis is ready for the NHL. Gove is ready for the NHL. Burkov might be ready for the NHL by the start of next season. We also do have actually Maselli, so technically I might actually have to let go of Gove because I want both these guys signed for the AHL. So yeah, Gove might have to leave the team, unfortunately, just so we could have enough goalie spots. But yeah, Burkov could literally jump right to the NHL from ZSC, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, we might have Solis as a backup next year, or Burkov, or we might just have to run like 3 goalies next season, or 4 goalies even for that matter, because at the moment, Sonnenberg's still signed here for 1 more season. And Norton is still signed for 1 more season as well. So, or we could wait at 1 year and have Solis and Burkov just dominate the AHL. And then, yeah, Gove is probably going to be let go of because of that. Or Maselli would probably play in the AHL at some point. That's a lot of elite goaltenders, man. So there is our goalie situation as well. Let me skim through the rest of the pending free agents so you guys can see the entire list of people. And that's that. Okay. Final few things. Progress reports. Are we getting any good growth from some unsigned guys? Let's see. So Hamalainen's getting a lot of natural growth. Booze is ready to jump to our top 6. So Mauricio Booze is ready to take that spot then from who is his name? From what's his name? Rizzi. Yeah, so Booze could literally hop into our defensive core and replace Rizzi if we don't want to bring Rizzi back, which is really good. Haken's getting a lot of development. Nicholas Paco is almost ready to be an NHL defenseman, which is good too. So there's that. In the system-wise, are we getting any crazy growth? Like, has anybody super high overall-wise? We know Solis is high. Same with Gove. Burkov is getting a lot of growth. Yeah, both those goalies are really good. Both of them are listed as backups. We might have to run 3 goalies next season, or run both of them in the AHL for 1 more year. Or we buy out Sonnenberg for his last year of his contract, but I don't think it's worth it. Aside from that, Richter's up to a 75. That's pretty good. But there is not really a ton of growth in the AHL. Anderson up to a 73. Renault up to a 71 at 20. Hartnell's up to a 69 at 21. Oh boy. Yeah, he might get signed for the AHL next season just to give us more defensive prospects. Bursch is up to a 69 at 22. We need some of these guys to develop a lot quicker, because a lot of them are taking their sweet time. Okay, final thing, the draft class. Let me take a look. Where are we drafting again? Since we won the President's Trophy, 29th. 29th overall pick, man. We're not going to get really anything at that spot, likely. I hope that we can, though. Let's see. 29. What can we get at 29? We could get Johnston. 4 years out. Pakarainen. Whoa, this guy's really good and he's NHL ready, but he's likely going to go a few spots before us. But I will pin Ryan Komachi as a forward. We do need more defensemen. This guy's a guaranteed OFD. We do need a puck-moving defenseman, Emiliano Riley. 4 years out. We'll definitely pin him because he might be that puck-moving defenseman we've been looking for, but he also might take a lot of time to develop. There's also an NHL-ready defensive defenseman. That would be nice. Jan Sprooks. There's also another top 6 forward in Leon Oliwa, which listed as a gem. Okay, this draft class actually might be much better than some of the other ones we've seen in terms of like later round steals, which is good. Because you have some top 4, and there's another top 4 OFD. Reed Stewart, 4 years out. So we'll finally be able to grab ourselves an OFD, I think, this year. But they are going to take a little bit to develop is the only thing. I wish they're like NHL ready. Because that would be really nice. Any lowlights that we could pin? Because that would be great. Yes, there's a lowlight power forward, but it's supposed to go earlier than our next pick in round 2. Which means we would have to take him in round 1, which I don't think I would be willing to do since we need offensive defenseman. This guy might be lowlight as well. That's later in the 2nd round. Lutz is listed as a gem, so he's probably a lowlight. And then there is Winther as well, potentially. What about goalie prospect-wise? Some early goaltenders, which means some medium elites likely. Okay. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So really sucks that we couldn't get out of that 2nd round. I think our team definitely should have been better, but the game just, for some reason, when you win the President's Trophy, it's like almost for sure you don't win a Stanley Cup. Like, it's a very slim chance you actually do win the cup. Like, I feel like it like lowers your chances of winning the Stanley Cup almost in a sense. But hopefully next year we do much better. Hopefully we have a good draft ahead of us to fill in voids, obviously, for the future. Hopefully the addition of some of those younger goaltenders next season could help our team a little bit too, Not that we've been having really much goaltending trouble, but obviously finding a goalie that can consistently win in the playoffs would be great. Getting more depth scoring would be great as well on our team. So let me know that below, and I'll see you guys next time.